Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Nicole B. Jackson Show. I am your host this evening, Nicole B. Jackson. I'm excited that you are tuned in tonight. We've got a phenomenal show for you. We are still talking about fresh starts and new beginnings, and tonight it's all about families first. A special Father's Day edition, guys. And so we're going to kick things off right here and get on into tonight's show. Our very first guest is the one and only Mr. Javon Martin. Mr. Martin is the producer and CEO of JPM Productions. If you would, please put your hands together and welcome to the show tonight's guest, one of tonight's awesome guests, Mr. Javon Martin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How are you, Miss Nicole?
I am doing well.
Excellent.
How are you?
It's so wonderful to be here with you and your wonderful audience and your great crew. It's just been a delight. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And tonight, as I stated, it's all about families first, keeping families first, and this is our special Father's Day edition. And so that means you have to be a father to be sitting here next to me, right?
I'm the father of many. There's 3 that I know of, and those are the ones that we're going to talk about tonight. The ones that I know of.
That you know of. Well, let's hope that that's all right.
Right, and thanks to Walgreens, it's confirmed that they are mine. So pay that $35 and make sure before you pay all that money. But no, I'm blessed to be the father of an 11-year-old girl named Siobhan. I have an 8-year-old son named Javon Jr., and then a 2-year-old named Vaughn. I said if they're going to be mine, they're going to have my name.
And everything.
We was going to have a Favon if we had another one, a Grayvon.
A Favon and a Grayvon.
We was going to keep going down the line until we ran out of letters.
So in your household, it's similar to mine. When you're trying to get someone's attention, it's just probably, hey, you know who I'm talking to, because you end up saying everyone's name wrong.
You have to have the right inflection in your voice. So when it's, come here, Vaughn, come here, then Vaughn knows to come here. The 11-year-old, the 12-year-old, however old she is, she knows that when she hear the light voice, that ain't
That's
her.
Not her.
That ain't her.
Okay,
she off on that.
So she's at the age where she has surpassed the light tone.
Oh yes,
Gotcha.
she gets this voice.
Awesome.
Listen,
that is hilarious.
that's
to
the
me.
one she gets
That's
right
funny.
there. That's when I'm gonna talk to you the rest of this show because it sounds better on the TV.
Like that.
The Siobhan voice.
Well, whatever works in the Martin household works in the
Absolutely.
Martin household. Let's talk a little bit about what you do for a living to provide for these 3 that you have identified that are yours.
Yes, those 3.
And then we'll get more into fresh starts and new beginnings, and as far as being a father and fatherhood. So we know that you are the CEO of JPM Productions.
JVM.
JVM.
I don't know why they wrote that on. They did that to trip you up on purpose to see if you was gonna fly with it.
Well, that's okay because we keep it moving.
Yes, we do.
JVM Productions.
JVM Productions.
And so what do you do there?
I hold many hats. I'm the president and CEO. And what we do, we're a talent-based organization. So we mentor and take in young Christian artists, faith-based, whether it's singers, dancers, spoken word artists. We take them in, we train them up, and then we put them out there to make sure that this is really what they want to spend their time getting to know as a profession. So whether it's a model and she thinks that all she has to do is just get on the runway and walk, well, we teach her how to walk. We teach her about the time that it takes to put into that gift and really becoming a master at your craft. And then after 6-9 weeks, then they say, you know what? This isn't what I want to do. I'd rather be a teacher. But we get to make sure. Oh, absolutely. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I'm 30-something.
It's a process.
It is. So we get to really put them in real life situations so that they understand what it really takes, and then before they waste all their money and go through life thinking that this is what they want to do and get to 40 years old and realize that they don't want to do it, we hit them at an early age, knock it out, and then they either get education and knowledge to keep going forward and be great, or they decide maybe I need to try something else.
Different. And so in your position as CEO, it sounds like you do a lot of nurturing.
A lot of nurturing.
And so,
babysitting.
Nurturing and babysitting. And those are some of the things that you don't often hear referred to when you hear of fatherhood. Mostly, sometimes you hear with mothers being nurturers and babysitters. And so what I hear you saying is that you're able to, in your professional career, take some of the skills that you've honed into as far as being a family man and do that in your job. And so, if is that something that you, when you're sitting there and you're actually doing it, you're like, you know what? You said babysitting. Are you able to really see yourself nurturing and providing some of that parental like guidance?
Well, I think because it's 2015 going to 2016, we're allowed to do a couple of things as men. We're able to get on TV and sweat like a cow. Which is what I'm great at. We also, though, we get to be more nurturing. It's not about being that strong, stereotypical, I've got to be masculine, I've got to rough you up, I've got to shake you loose. I think we're beyond that now. I think we're at a point in society now to where men can be loving, men can be caring and show that side. And then I believe that it also helps with the development of our children, development of our people, development of our society, to where we have men that aren't afraid to go against the status quo and just be willing to be nice and gentle. And that's what I decided to do. It could be because I grew up with just women. I didn't have a father figure. So everybody around me was loving and caring and nurturing. And that felt good.
And that kind of is a perfect segue into my next question. I was going to ask you, what was your childhood like? When I'm working with clients in my private practice, we do a lot of connecting the dots. It's important for us as people to understand how our childhood experiences link to where we are and what we do as adults. And just as you said, you grew up in a household with women who were nurturers by nature. That's possibly some of the reason why you are such a nurturing father.
I believe that that's the exact reason why I am. I think it was being able to have a mother who was very, very strong, but still loving. And then being able to go to church, and of course church was just full of beautiful women, and being able to be around
Thank
these.
You, God.
Yes, he's a wonderful creator, and being and being able to be around these people who were examples of being strong-minded, being determined, but being loving and being caring, and not having a male figure in my life. I mean, we had the deacons, and they were very nice to me, and we had the pastor who was great, and but it wasn't that at-home figure. So I watched lots of TV and was able to become a man from that. And I mean, we were in church 6 out of 7 days. So you learn things there. Oh, absolutely. And then just having her be around and show me that you can be strong. And then, of course, seeing the guys that did come around that didn't do it right. My mom decided to get married to some knucklehead who will remain nameless, Don Williams. That was his name. And he was a terrible human being, if I could say that on TV, on live TV, without being edited out.
It's already done.
So that's fine. So because he was alcoholic and he was abusive verbally and he just didn't care, seeing that side and saying, you know what? I see what you're doing, and I'm going to do in my life the complete opposite
of that.
So that helps a lot.
And that's resiliency as far as you're concerned, because there are some children who might grow up in that environment and know that that's not necessarily the way that they want to go, but they end up doing the same thing. I put a post out on social media a couple of days ago, and it talked about the fact that our children emulate what they see, not so much what they do. And I appreciate you talking about the fact that as a man, you've learned how to be emotional, not necessarily sitting around moping and crying, but you've learned how to be able to get into your emotions and that it's okay to have that softer side.
Now, there's nothing wrong with moping and crying too now, Nicole. Sometimes you got to mope and you got to cry.
But you know, when we say that emotional side, sometimes people take that to the extreme and think that we mean more than just being vulnerable. I guess that's a better way to put it.
Yes.
So I appreciate that you said that. And a couple of other questions. So we got that you're nurturing and that you...
And I'm loving.
And that you're loving.
Forget the loving part.
Oh, I won't forget that.
Because I'm a lover. I do love. Okay.
Okay. I can't keep a straight face with you tonight. But I get that, and I appreciate that. Now, let's talk about those roles because, okay. So now, in today's society, there are some roles that we think that mostly women are supposed to do and that mostly men are supposed to do. And so we're talking about fresh starts and new beginnings. And so that has shifted now.
Yes.
As a father, what have been some of the fresh starts and new beginnings that you have put into place in your household? What are some things that are significant and special in the Martin household?
It's important for me to be involved heavily with my kids' lives. So for my daughter, for instance, she's now growing into this beautiful young woman.
Okay.
So my role with her is I want to take her shopping. and see the things that she wants to buy and help guide her in a direction, whether it's because I try to keep her looking presentable before the eyes of the Lord, but she don't really like to wear that stuff. But it's just being that no, she don't. But just being able to guide her and letting her know why certain clothing is inappropriate and why she can do certain things and why she can, and helping her get through her attitudinal days because she's grown into a teenager, and because she thinks that she's growing and developing, she thinks that she can just run things now. So being able to be there and to be a true voice in the house saying this isn't going to fly. And also with my son is very emotional.
Okay.
It's the way I'm going to put that. He's very emotional. And I know that in society, that's not the most desirable trait for a man, but letting him know it's okay to be emotional. Right.
Definitely.
When you're up there on the baseball field and you strike out and you come back and you want to put your head down and pout, you know what? Get one of those real good cries out your system, and then pick your head up and let's go.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get back on the field. You got things to do.
Yeah.
So being able to just push him while still letting him be who he is.
Definitely.
And letting him grow into whoever he's going to be.
Yeah.
And then with my 2-year-old, I love giving that little girl a bath. You know, my wife loves to have that bath time with her, but I like getting in there and playing with the bubbles and putting it on her nose and blowing it and just having fun with my kids.
That's
so
sweet.
It's not just about being there and providing money
Yes.
and making sure that there's food there, but also making sure that they have a strong emotional presence in the household.
Wow, this is ordained, because I just had a similar conversation earlier today. And, you know, we do have to, as parents, provide those basic necessities: food, water, clothing, shelter.
Sure.
But our children really want us. They want that emotional connection. That's what teaches them how to interact socially with other people and how to develop their own relationships.
Absolutely.
You know, and as you said with your son, being okay, it's okay to cry if you need to cry. Because if you get into a relationship and you're not able to express yourself, you're not able to talk to your mate about how you're really feeling, how are they supposed to know? That can really create some issues in the relationship. So I think that it's really awesome that you are able to meet the needs of each of your children where they are, because they're each so different.
Absolutely. And
That's
very
awesome.
important. Very important.
So now, if we were talking to your children and you were not here, it's just them.
Yes.
How would they describe you? One word only.
One word.
What would they use to describe?
Now my kids
you?
cuss, so you mean a
Oh.
clean word, right?
Yes, a clean word.
What's a clean
And I'm
word?
sure, guys, that his children do not curse.
Sure, guys. I would think that they would say that I'm present.
Okay.
My daughter says that a lot. She's like, "You're always here, Daddy." And as somebody who I work 50, 60 hours a week.
Okay.
And I'm on the road constantly, but for the fact that she still sees me as present in her life is very powerful to me. So my daughter would say that I'm present. My son would say that I'm athletic because I'm a beast out on the court. You know,
Okay,
I've got
okay.
a 3-point shot that's deadly. It would have helped Cleveland last night. It would have helped them because
Okay.
they needed help.
Okay, so
LeBron
you would have been
needed
able
help.
to go against
Javon Dellavedova is what I would have been called.
Javon Double.
So he would say I'm athletic because his focus is sports and he loves
Okay.
playing sports. So, and then my daughter, she just calls me Dada. So, and hearing her say Dada, they were gone for 3 weeks in Illinois,
Okay.
and we FaceTimed every day. And when she get on the phone, Dada, 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 Dada,
That's
Dada, where
That's
Mama? So, you know, I enjoy having her call me Dada. So,
That's
present, athletic, and Dada.
That is so sweet. And so for the fathers out there who may be first-time fathers, because you've had some experience, you know, for quite a while now being a
Yes.
father, what one piece of advice would you give them? As, again, roles have sometimes changed. Society looks at men as a different way these days. What advice would you give a father that's trying to hang in there, do the right things, and be present? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to make mistakes. Making mistakes is so important in life. We all make mistakes. And getting here, I was spending time with the kids, and then I decided that I was only going to bring one cuff link instead of two, and I was going to bring my black shoes instead of my brown, and I was going to bring my black belt instead of my brown. So I said, I'm not going to color coordinate today. So I'm going to go ahead and spend time with the kids and making sure that they're fine and that they're present, and then be there to be present and do whatever I need to do. So I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to tell them advice that's going to be terrible, and it's going to be okay because we can go back and fix it later. So, you know, burn some chicken. every
Versus
once in a while. And, and just don't be afraid to make mistakes. Go with your instincts, as long as they don't endanger nobody. And make mistakes and learn from them. Let them see you're vulnerable and that you're able to make mistakes. Let them make mistakes. And then y'all just go on living. Enjoy life.
Yes. Don't sweat.
It's okay to clap. That was a good clap moment. That's
Don't
that
sweat the
ever-present
small
moment
stuff.
to clap. Yes.
I appreciate that. And thank you so much again for joining us tonight,
My
Mr.
pleasure.
Martin.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate the words of wisdom that you've left with us tonight. And don't go anywhere. We've got a lot of show left, and we've got some other awesome fathers that will be joining us here shortly. But now it's time for our Mind, Body, and Spirit segment. We have actually going to change up just quite a bit. And then we're going to go to Lakia, because I just got word that a awesome person just stepped into the building.
Awesome.
And I want to make sure that we bring him on, because I'm sure he's going to continue to give us some really good tips and tools tonight about being a father. So now I'm going to introduce to some and reintroduce to many the awesome, wonderful celebrity comedian Griff. If you don't know Griff, now you will know. Please put your hands together and welcome to the show, Griff. Hey there.
What's going on?
Oh,
How are you? You good?
Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, I am excited that you are here.
I'm glad I'm here too. It is so hot outside.
Yes, it's hot, and
It's
I
a
know.
beautiful thing though. I'm so glad God know when to control his own weather, because we would call in sick. Oh man, I forgot to
gosh.
put the heat on. Man. We use the sick boys too.
Definitely. We will find any excuse to not have to go do something.
Right.
Hot,
Exactly.
cold, indifferent, it doesn't
Rain.
matter.
You know? How you been?
I've been well.
I was talking to your husband in the back, and I was asking him, how is it working with your wife?
Oh, Lord.
And I know everybody asks you guys that. Now, I work with my wife. Actually, we got some really good news to tell the city.
Okay.
As of Monday, June 15th, we're the new morning show on Old School 99.3 FM
Wow.
here in Atlanta.
All right. That's what's up.
Like me, a huge deal. No, but it's something me and my wife and I have been working on for 6 years. And, when you watch something coming to fruition and when you have vision, God will teach you patience, and no matter what everybody else says, when you know what you're supposed to do for the Lord and your steps are ordered and that not only is God got you, but then he also had your rib to have you too. I like to not call my wife a rib. I think I got the wrong
Well, then what
bone.
would you like to call her?
I think God gave me the wrong bone with my wife. I think I got the jawbone, because all she be doing is talking and talking.
So now you do understand that once you leave here, that's the person you have to go home with, right?
Oh, she know. I'm gonna say that every time. I know a jawbone when I see one. Don't try to sneak a jawbone on me.
Oh my goodness. I love it. And so for those of the audience members who may not be quite familiar with you in the radio sector, tell them a little bit about your background and where they may have seen you before and where they can, get some information about what else you've got going on.
What's real funny is my mother always told me to live in the past, die in the past. But I hate really talking about my bio, but today I've been doing comedy for 20 years, 2 months, and 4 days. In 2013, I became the first American to tape Comedy Central Africa.
Wow.
Last November, they brought me back to tape Comedy Central Africa in Johannesburg again.
Congratulations.
To do a Christian set. I got 5 kids. Me and my wife don't like to say we got 5 kids. We like to say we're the manager of a rock group.
Well, we have 4, so you got one up on me.
Look, we the manager of a rock group called the Ungratefuls. That's what we like to call them. My wife just retired 20 years in the military 2 months ago. My oldest son is in the Army on his 2nd tour in Afghanistan. My middle son is in the Air Force in Hawaii. My 3rd son was in the Army and got kicked out a couple months ago. My brother in the Army, my other brother.
So it's
my father
truly a
Marine.
military
I was in
family.
The military. Yeah, we are about that life.
Well, we appreciate you guys and all of the service that you do and have done for us here in the United States.
But I just and thank you. I'm so blessed. I'm in such a a blessed season right now that I'm trying to think of what I got. So many things that's happening right now, not just the radio, but we're doing a merger with a production company in South Africa, and then we got another company that's doing something with the Pentagon, and we working on.
So hold on, let me stop you right there. So with all this stuff that you have going on, how do you manage fatherhood?
Well, none of my kids live home. So, no, I got two that live in the house. All three of our sons are out the house. I got a 15, she just turned 16 yesterday.
Okay.
Got a 16-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter who is in California for the summer. But for me, because my sons are gone and I just have women in the house, I just learned how to listen.
So really you say you just learn how to be quiet?
Yeah, I don't say nothing. I walk around the house and be like, I know that's right, girl. Nice blouse. I'm a female at the house. I'm doing this too. Everybody else doing this in the crib. I'm like, where's daddy's scarf?
Oh my goodness. We're going to hold that thought right there, Griff. And we're going to go ahead and segue into the mind, body, and spirit segment. This is a segment where we talk about the importance of your mind, your body, and your spiritual well-being. And we've got Lakia Brandenburg here tonight.
Thanks, Nicole. Hey, it's Lakia LB Brandenburg, and this is your mind, body, and spirit segment where we help you highlight different ways to incorporate wellness in your everyday life. Now, this night, we're going to talk about the body. We can't get enough of the body, all right? Now, if you are like most people, you're looking for ways to shed some of those extra pounds with the summer here and everything that's going on. And our guest tonight is no stranger to the show. She's been here before. Actually, if you can see, I'm trying to keep my balance. She introduced these Kangoo shoes, and tonight she's going to show us how to kickbox in these bouncy foos. If you'll help me introduce LaWanda to the show, help me welcome her. A round of applause. Hey, LaWanda. All right, girl. I did all right trying to keep my balance. Now, LaWanda, for those who are not new or pretty much to the show, can you give them a little bit about your background?
I have been in the fitness industry since 2001. I have literally taught over 14,000 group fitness classes. So I teach everything from yoga to Pilates, step, boot camp, Zumba, water aerobics, indoor cycling, BOSU, pretty much everything.
Everything. She is also a physical trainer. Now, tonight you're going to show us about kickboxing. Tell us a little bit about this phenomenon that everybody's getting into with these Kangoo shoes.
Okay, so what we have on are Kangoo Jumps rebound shoes, and contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think it's just the latest fitness gimmick, but it's so much more than that because these shoes actually make working out safer. They absorb up to 80% of impact, which is a really big deal because there's so many people who cannot work out because they have hip problems, knee problems, or back problems. So this is excellent for someone who has those issues or for everyone who would like to prevent those issues because it affects a lot of athletic people. Also, it allows you to burn up to 20% more calories.
20%?
Yes. So whatever you do in sneakers, you're going to burn more calories in these shoes because they're heavy and you have to use more muscles.
That they are.
Yeah. Because they are unstable, I have to use more muscles just to stand up straight. So there are a lot of benefits.
So when it comes to the kickboxing, what are we actually targeting? Because again, trying to keep my balance, that's one thing I've learned with these shoes. It's all about the balance. I'm feeling it in my core. But when it comes to kickboxing, what am I targeting?
Well, we're still targeting the core, but again, because the shoes weigh about 3 pounds, it's basically like kickboxing with ankle weights on. So we're going to burn more calories because kickboxing burns a lot of calories anyway because you're lifting your largest body parts, your legs, your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings. But now we have 3-pound weights attached to our legs. So it's going to intensify it. And again, because we're on an unstable surface, we're using a lot more stabilizing muscles, so we're forced to stand a little bit straighter.
So we have our footwork on. Check my footwork. We got our footwork on. What about gloves? Do we need gloves to do the kickboxing?
Not the style of kickboxing I do because I don't punch a bag. If there's a punching bag involved, then sometimes you would want to put on a glove to protect your fingertips and your knuckles.
Now, before we actually get the demonstration going, can I get 2 for 1? Can you show me how to kickbox, and can I use this as a defense mechanism?
Yes. Yes, actually, the upper body moves are very much useful in the real world. If you ever had to defend yourself, hopefully that never happens. But if you had to, you could actually use these moves and get the bad guy.
Well, take us through some simple steps when it comes to kickboxing with some Kangoo shoes on your feet. Nicole, I hope you're ready for this.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we definitely want to start with our knees soft. We never want to lock our joints. And the key to having a power in the upper body is we want to make sure that our elbows are high because you would never strike someone in the real world and hit them with your arm down because there's no power in my hand. The power comes once
Throw them bows.
Yes, exactly. Throw those bows. So all of my strikes, whether I'm doing a jab, an uppercut, a hook, or a cross, I'm going to keep my elbows high. I'm also going to turn my body because, again, my arms aren't very strong. So if I just hit someone straight ahead, there's not a lot of power there. However, if I turn my body when I strike, now I've got the weight of half of my body. So there's a lot more force coming in there when I turn, which is why boxers are constantly turning and working their obliques. So in terms of the lower body, we don't kick extra high when we're wearing the Kangoo jumps, and we really don't have to because, again, they are heavier, so we're going to get that workout anyway. So if we're doing a basic knee strike, we're bringing our knees up to our belly. You're going to join me, aren't you, Amin?
Okay, let's go.
So we're just going to reach, like we're reaching and pulling, bringing the knees
I was just trying to hold the mic.
So again, we got more muscles working here because, again, we're on an unstable surface.
Woo!
And so from that knee lift, we can easily take that into a kick. But we don't want to lock the knees, of course. So you're feeling that. So now we're working the quads, working the glutes, the hamstrings, definitely the core.
Okay.
All right.
So how fast do we start seeing results now? Because I'm already feeling it.
Well, in terms of burning calories, you're going to burn calories right away. Okay. But when people ask how long will it take me to see results, unfortunately, diet is the main thing. Okay. So if you do kickboxing and you go celebrate at Dairy Queen, I can't take
no results for you.
You will be stronger, you'll have more energy, but you can absolutely put the calories back in. Okay. You can definitely burn up to 20 calories per minute during a workout. But how many calories you put back in your body after the workout really determines how quick you'll see results. Okay. Also, how conditioned you are. So if a person's coming from a sedentary state where they're not working out at all, they'll see immediate results. Oh, wow. And the more trained you are, the more you have to do to get a challenge. Okay. As they say, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So for people coming from a sedentary state, within 2 or 3 weeks, they can see a loss of inches, and they'll feel more energetic after the first workout.
So go ahead and show us one routine that you would do with your actual students or your, the people who will come into your actual workshops.
Okay, so we would start in a light bounce, just like...
Is this the warm-up?
Yeah, you can say it's the warm-up. We're just bouncing side to side, and then we're got our guard up. And from here, we're just going to turn, jabbing lightly. And again, we're turning the body. And that's more of an upper body workout, of course. And then we can do an uppercut, striking our opponent in the chin to working the legs. And again, we can add our kicks. Now we can add a hop to that, or we can take the hop out.
Take the hop out.
But as you see, when you take the hop out, the shoes actually start to feel heavier.
Oh, yes, they do.
So you have a choice. You can either work your cardiovascular system more by hopping, take the hop out, and you get more of a muscular workout.
Now, how often do you offer these classes here in Atlanta?
I offer private classes almost every day. My classes are open to the public Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m., Wednesday evening at 7:15 p.m., right here on Baltimore Place in Midtown, about 5 minutes away from here.
Now, if I'm not comfortable with being on the Kangoo shoes or being inside of those, can I still do the class without them?
I don't recommend you do because we're jumping the entire time. Okay. And so I don't recommend jumping for an hour. It's kind of like taking step aerobics without the step. Okay. You kind of the whole thing is about the shoes. So yeah, really with the jumping that we do is I don't really recommend excessive jumping without the rebound shoes because again, these shoes take 80% of impact off your joints. So this allows injured people to jump without any type of pain or injury.
And the last time you were here, you were telling us about the other benefits outside of the kickboxing, outside of the Kangoo, just walking around. She wearing y'all to the show. I see her in them all the time. They're a favorite pair of shoes. Tell us what else they benefit when it comes to therapeutic.
Well, yeah, anyone that has back trouble, my hairstylist actually works in these and she no longer has back pain. Again, it's the standing equivalence to sitting on an exercise ball. So you may know someone that got rid of their office chair and they sit on a ball and they stop having back pain. This is the same thing. So anyone that's on their feet all day, maybe a dry cleaner, a caterer, just standing all day reduces the impact because basically it's like having a trampoline attached to your feet. It can even get rid of migraines and neck pain because so many people have pain simply because their posture is incorrect. Wow. And when we're on an unstable surface, without even thinking about it, we stand taller. No one has to tell you to stand straight if you take 1 foot off the floor. So your core is constantly being challenged even if you're not aware of it.
So even if I have back problems, I can immediately start with the Kangoo shoes. You wouldn't just start, I guess, recommend a slow transition into them? I can just put them on and I can start getting the benefits from wearing them.
Absolutely. My oldest client is, oldest person I've had try the shoes on is 79 years old. Oh, wow. She's now 80. She had a birthday. But they make exercise safer. So a lot of older people fall because their posture is bad, because their balance is off, and because their bones are brittle. So with these shoes, every step you take, the impact is absorbed. So it's actually safer for someone that has any type of skeletal fragility, because it lessens the impact. I like to say if you fell on this concrete floor, you would feel pain. If you fell on a water bed, you wouldn't, because the water bed would absorb the impact. And that's what standing and walking in these shoes would do. It absorbs the impact so you don't feel the hard surface that you're standing on.
That's a great analogy right there. I never looked at it like that. Audience members, would you actually try to work out in these shoes? Would you? Absolutely, right? I mean, they are heavy. And I do feel it. But when it comes to actually the core, I actually feel myself trying to keep my balance with the shoes. Like I'm constantly leaning forward, leaning back. So I definitely see the benefit of it. Are there any final words for you? Anything you want to say to the audience?
I just want to say to people that don't be afraid to try them on. The number one question that people have is always of balance. And I also like to compare it to a chair. If we push a regular chair, it falls over. If you push a rocking chair, it rocks. So the bottom of these shoes are shaped like a rocking chair. So even if you lose your balance, you rock in them. So actually, contrary to popular belief, it's harder to fall over in these shoes than any pair of shoes that you have in your closet, including sneakers.
Even my heels.
Yes. Even your 4-inch stilettos with the ankle strap.
About 5 or 6, but okay.
Yes. So I think they scare people because they look like skates, but they're actually very safe to use. I ran the Georgia Half Marathon, 13.1 miles in the rain in these shoes. Wait a minute,
say that again.
13.1 miles, Georgia Half Marathon in March in these shoes.
How fast were you running?
Fast enough to finish in 2 hours and 48 minutes. Yeah.
Wow. So it is possible. We've been talking about fresh starts and new beginnings here, and I think this is a great way to incorporate some newness in your workout regimen. Can you please give us, all of our listeners and our viewers and our audience members, your contact information so that we can reach out to you when we're ready to try on the Kangoo?
You can find us at Kangoo Club Atlanta. That's spelled Kangoo. Club Atlanta. We're on Facebook as Kangoo Club Atlanta, as well as Twitter and Instagram, and we have a YouTube page as well. Our number is 678-575-4748.
Are you doing demonstrations on the YouTube page?
Yes, I have some videos on there. Awesome video to Uptown Funk.
Make sure you're subscribing. Nikhol, what do you think? You going to try them out?
I will actually get on the floor, I think, next week. So I'm going to come prepared because I know you all are waiting for me to try them. I don't know about kickboxing, so I'm proud of you, LB.
Thank you, darling. It is hot. But I thank you so much. And this is your Mind, Body, and Spirit segment. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, LaWanda and Lakia, for this awesome Mind, Body, and Spirit segment, guys. Now that you've gotten some fresh tips on how to jumpstart a new health workout regimen, we want to continue on with our awesome topic tonight. It's Families First here on the show, and we're talking about Father's Day. And I'm just a lucky woman. I have a bunch of awesome fathers joining me tonight here on this show. And all of you ladies out there in TV land should be envious of me, because not only are they handsome guys, but they're fathers who are involved with their families and their children's lives. And so, Griff, you are my co-host for the evening.
Awesome.
And before we went over to the Mind, Body, and Spirit break, we were talking about fatherhood for you, right, and some of the things that you do to try to make it all work. And I know that you're an author. Talk to us briefly about your book and how that plays a role into families and being a father.
I wrote a book for moms raising sons from the perspective of a son raised by his 15-year-old mother, called Cats and Puppies. The analogy of the book is that Dr. John Gray said that men are from Mars, women are from Venus, but really we're different species. I did some research, and if a cat has kittens and a dog has puppies, as long as it's within 4.5 hours, if anything happens to that dog, then a cat can raise those puppies as its own. But when those puppies grow up and turn into dogs, all the cat can do is tell it things it saw dogs do, because they're not the same thing. And I remember being like 9 and really realizing, like, oh, my mom is a girl. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't talk to my father for like 20 years. He was very abusive, and But now we are like two dudes who won't hang up never. Like I'm like,
You
no,
hang up first.
You hang up. No, you hang up. No, I love you more than all the grass blades in the world.
But
like
that's full circle. That's
yeah,
awesome.
is what I realize what God does with us. If you can't have grace on your kids, then God ain't gonna have grace on you. If you're not gonna have forgiveness for people, then God ain't gonna have forgiveness for you.
That's
so,
true.
as a man, it's just a time for men to not be blaming everything on not being raised by their father, and it's an easy cop out to me. I'm a person in the limelight, and what I learned with all these decades in this business is that my family is more important to me than my celebrity.
Yes.
My oldest son is 24. I got two 22-year-olds this year, and we have a great relationship. I mean, my son is in Afghanistan, and he texted me and said, "You my hero. This is my firstborn son."
Wow.
And being present, like your first guest said, was it's nothing more important. Like I work at night and I leave on the weekend, and I'm in different states and on different continents. But when I'm home, I just want to color with my 8-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Me and my 16-year-old going to the library. We at the Barnes and Nobles. Me and my wife are going shopping. I just have to. I have to have that relationship with my daughters, which is very special because I don't ever want. My 8-year-old was kind of being an 8-year-old, and I was like, Jameson, and she said, "Dad, I'm not trying to get on your nerves." I said, "You know what? You can never get on my nerves by loving me. I don't want to be the dad that tell my 16-year-old, I don't want to talk to you right now."
Yeah.
So then she talked to a boy, and the boy said, "Let's do this and let's do this." So I am always saying what we want to talk about. And then one time she hit me with a 48-minuter before. If you don't know what that is, like my daughter talked to me. She said, "Dad, you know the guy that I was talking about in school that always stand next to me, that always had the same thing." 48 minutes went by, and all I could say at the end was, "How about that?" But what I'm teaching her now is a man engages in conversation. A man is not just going to say, let's go to a restaurant, then let's go to a hotel. All three of my daughters know whenever we're in the public, all three of them will never open a door.
That's good.
If they with me, they will never. And then we laugh at people who
do it
just
the other
let
way.
their wives open doors and all. You know what I'm saying? That's like a horrible. I got in trouble as a kid if I didn't run out my dad's car.
You're not in your head.
You did the same thing, homie?
That sounds very familiar.
You know what I'm saying? But getting in trouble for being respectful just taught me to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like I was in trouble because I was in trouble because I know better than to let a female out the door, out the car before she has to open the door.
And that was what we were just talking about with our first guest about how we emulate what we see.
Right.
And not so much what we hear. And with that, I want to introduce these other awesome two fathers here. We have Saga Boss joining us.
Thank you.
Awesome radio host. And we have Mr. Jermon, correct? Jermon here with us, an awesome photographer. And so we know you have the, what did you call them? The rock star? You have a rock star group. Rock group.
The Ungrateful.
The Ungrateful. We want to know more about your families and your children. So, Saga Boss, start us off and let us know about your children. How many kids do you have?
I think he has the rock group. I have the starting 5 for a co-ed basketball team.
Okay. We got the rock group and the starting 5.
Yeah, three girls, 2 boys.
Okay. And what are their age ranges?
17, 16, 12, 9. It's a blended family, but everything works.
Awesome.
Like, everything works.
Awesome. And Jermon, what about you?
I have a 4-year-old. He's very spoiled, and he's my only child, and so I pretty much, as long as he do what he's supposed to do, I give him whatever he asks for. Yes.
Awesome. You say he's 4?
Yes, he's 4.
Oh, I don't know a 4-year-old that has not been spoiled.
Every little kid should get a toy and you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with a parent that don't want a kid to
and
have
hugs and
You
kisses?
can't spoil you can never spoil a kid. You know that's their affection. You understand that they understand that my dad always gets me stuff.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's a can of soda, even if it's hey man, I found this fresh rock. My dad gave me a rock. You know what I'm saying?
And it's special, and they will hold on to that forever and ever and ever.
It's like the kids who they don't have a relationship with their father, and then maybe their dad calls them, haven't seen them in 3 years, and tells them on Friday after school, I'm coming to get you. On Friday at 3 o'clock, I'm coming to get you. And now it's Saturday morning. And now it's Saturday night.
Yeah.
And now it's Sunday morning. Yeah. And now it's Sunday evening. You don't hear from this guy for another 3 weeks. And all you have, most men will say, oh, I have no money, and then your mama, but
that's not what they care about.
If a man goes and picks his son up, spends 2 or 3 hours with him at a park, goes to a store, gets a grape crushed soda for his son will drink grape soda for the rest of his life because his father his father taught him that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, we miss the mark when we feel like boys need dads. Yeah. You know, I was raised by my mom, and then I was raised by my dad, but what I knew and understood was that it's hard to be something that you don't have an example of.
Exactly. That's a very good point. And so with that, what were some of the hardest things that you've had to learn? Like, you know, Griff is talking about his experiences and now being able to identify that the boys, they need some type of male figure there. They need their dads. In all of your experiences growing up and now with your own children, what's been some of the hardest things that you've had to, I guess, kind of figure out maybe from your past and try to do differently, or a fresh start for you?
Well, for me, I grew up without my dad.
Okay.
So throughout parenthood, I'm trying to figure it out on the way.
I like that. Figure it out on the way.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest thing, I guess every part of it is, in a way, you know, kind of difficult.
Because this is new to you, because this is your only child right now.
It's new.
Yeah.
It's my only child. Is new. But, you know, at this point is, you know, making sure that he's seeing his dad be a great man, that, you know, making sure that I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. So, you know, when he gets to be, you know, my age, he can see that, well, you know, my dad was a great leader. He did this, he did that. He managed his finances well. He treated his wife well, and so I guess, you know, the challenge for me is to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because I know my son is watching me.
Awesome. What about you, Saka?
I think for me, like most, my father wasn't there when I grew up, but okay. I was lucky. I had my grandfather, and then I had 5 uncles. So I was taught, like he was saying, you know, my daughter's not allowed. My wife can't even right now. If she has groceries in the car, they're gonna stay in the car till I get home.
Promise.
Like, they can't even bring groceries in the house. That's just how I was raised. And even now with my sons, Dad, how you learn how to do that? My grandfather told me, he knew everything. No, because I do a little bit of everything.
Yes,
so
yeah.
Where'd you learn that? Granddad taught me. Wow. I wish he is your granddad, kid. He is your granddad. But no, I think I came off lucky, and a lot of the discipline that he had, I know my kids don't like it, you know, but you're going to be respectful.
Well, nobody likes no, not even adults.
Oh, no, not at all. But, you know, for them, it's a certain way you talk to your mother around me. I don't care what happens when I'm not in the house. But once Daddy walks in the house, be mindful of how you react to what your mother says. You have to respect your mother and respect your sister, the older one and the younger one. That's just how I was raised. So, but like I said, I came off lucky.
Okay, that's awesome. And so, Griff, do you have any responses or thoughts about that?
No, what I love about real men, and I say real men because you shouldn't be ashamed to say I'm a proud father. You shouldn't be ashamed to say, you know, I watched him on the end just talking about his son. His eyes kind of got watery just because, you know, he don't want to let his son down. You know what I'm saying? That's a very proud man on this couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, who want to let their son down? I think you see these men that don't have relationships with their sons, and now their sons are 19 and 20. you have to be accountable for that. You might have made a menace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not fair for a woman to have to raise something that she doesn't know a lot about. You know, with my daughters, I don't know how to put on makeup. I don't know how to put on eyelashes. I know it's always eyelashes around the sink. I know it's always, I can braid. I'm kind of nice with some braids if I had to. I can press some hair and take out braids, but overall, that's what your mama do. Right. You know what I'm saying?
You remember that LL Cool J commercial on the steps with the crooked braid?
Yes.
That's me all day.
That's you all day? So she says, no, Daddy, I'll just wait till Mommy comes.
No, she asked me to try, and then she'll look at it like, but Daddy, this part's not right. You got to do it over. My part's crooked. I'm like, all right, how about you wait till Mommy get home?
She gives you a chance, and that's interesting because we're talking about roles because we have a lot of households now where they may be two-parent households where mom is now, because of the economy and different things that have happened over the last few years, mom may now be the breadwinner and she's out working, and dad is home. So what do you all say to fathers where the roles have now reversed and dad's at home and, we're talking about being nurturers and taking care of home. What are your views about that side of fatherhood?
I don't think it should be looked at as something bad. I mean, man, wow, I get to spend more time with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what's funny in our household with my daughters, with my sons, they all flock to my wife. And we also have a blended family. I had 2 sons. My wife had a boy and a girl, and we made what we call that baby. Because when you are grown and you got teenage kids and you want to have another child, there's something wrong with your spirit. You supposed to borrow your brothers or sisters a new baby and give it back after 2 days.
You get that feel and then go on, right?
Your life.
Or you do like we do. We have a lot of friends that have kids, and they all call us, and could you be the godparents? So we have like 30 god kids.
Right.
But we can send them home.
Yes, that's the key. That's the key. Guys, I think we have a caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Hello. Hi. Thank you for calling.
Doing?
What's your
Can you
name?
hear me?
I can hear you now. What's your name?
This is Larry. Larry Jones.
Larry Jones. Larry Jones. Thank you so much for calling in. What's your question or comment tonight?
Oh, I've been watching you guys' show for the last 2 weeks, and you actually have a very, very awesome show. And I want to talk to the guys that are on there. My question is, as a father, what is the one thing that you think is the most important aspect of being a father?
I'll go first. That's a great question, Larry. The most important thing as a father to me is to not make excuses for not being a father. Oh man, I'm an alcoholic, or oh man, I can't get a job, I'm unemployed, I can't. It has nothing to do with being a father.
And showing up.
You know what I'm saying? Is what's important to me is that my kids, when my son told me in Afghanistan that I was his hero, and he serving in the military, that I was broke up. This is my oldest son, and that's powerful because I never missed a birthday, and why would I miss a birthday? Because of a comedy show? Like what? Because I had to go out of state, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it's about being present.
Wow.
I think being involved, like no matter what they're doing, sports, spelling bees, just be there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Even if you happen to show up a little bit late, you don't want to.
You get there.
But you can see them sitting on stage. It's happened to me. I had to work, got off work. They're sitting on the stage, head down, and then that door opened and they look up, and it changed everything.
Wow.
And now I think he knows all the words. I'm not sure because he didn't spell yet, but I think he know them all just because I walked in.
Because he knows that you're going to be there, and he wants to make you proud.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jerron.
Well, for me, it's being a positive role model. Well, I work with kids, and one thing that I observe about the kids is that they look up to Lil Wayne and all these entertainers.
Yes.
And I don't want that to be my son. I want him to look up to me and say, I want to be like my dad when I grow up.
Go ahead.
So for me, it's just being a positive role model. So that way, my son don't have to grow up and try to be like Lil Wayne or Drake or these characters that he's seeing on TV and listen to on the radio.
Yeah, he'll see the beautiful artwork that you do in your photography, and one day may say, Dad, come teach me some stuff. I want to do what you do, right?
Right.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Larry, for that great question. And so, guys, one last question for you all. I love the tips. That was the piece of advice that you would say as far as being a great father. If there was one thing that you didn't know when you had your first child, that now you have found out or figured out along the way, and you think it would be a great piece of advice for a new father starting out there, what would that be? Saga, you grab the mic. You ready?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. That one thing that maybe you didn't know starting out, that you found out along the way, that you think would be very helpful to a new father out there starting?
For me, I think that's easy because you might see your friends and everything looks perfect. It's not easy. It's hard. It can be easy, but being a parent is hard work, especially when you have a daughter. As a father, having a daughter, it's hard.
Man,
it's hard, but if I don't say this because my phone went off and I know it's her again, she said to tell you that I have the most amazing 17-year-old in the world. I did it. It's over with, so I'm out of trouble.
Awesome. Yeah, because if you didn't say that,
she'd have been on you.
He does have the most awesome 17-year-old.
Phone just went off again. I bet you that's a thank you.
How about that?
Hold that thought, Griff. I think we have another caller.
No problem.
Caller? Welcome to the show. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Larry. I'm calling from Atworth.
Hi, can you talk up just a little bit louder for us so we can hear you?
Yeah, this is Larry. I'm calling from Atworth, Georgia.
Another Larry. Hey, Larry from Ackworth. What's your question or comment tonight for us?
I don't have a question this evening. I just have a comment. I'm a dad, and I just feel so good to see some positive men on television actually talking about their families and actually doing it in a positive manner. So I'm just glad that I'm able to turn my television on and see it. So kudos to you and everybody that's on your show. And I'll hang up and just listen to you. But I just wanted to say thanks.
Oh, thank you so much, Larry. That was awesome. We really, truly appreciate you providing us with that feedback. That means a lot. That means a lot. Griff, what's your advice?
My advice for a new parent is there is no advice for parenting. There is not a book you can read because that book was wrote off of they kids. It's not it's not a comment you can take from somebody because that's how their son was raised. That's how their daughter did it. You know, you have to. It's like with my relationship with I love my wife because our relationship is our relationship. You know, it's not. We don't know what my dad been married 5 times. My mom been married 9. I'm a professional stepchild, so I definitely can't take no advice from
them.
You know what I'm saying? So we love each other the way we love each other.
And that works.
We raise our kids the way what works for us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So my advice is don't look for advice and just do it. It's not a game. Just do it. Figure out what your kid like. Figure out what they don't like. 'Cause all human beings are different and special.
Yes, and even though they all come from you, they're each different.
So like he said in the beginning, he's figuring it out as he's going. So.
Do you have any advice, or you just gonna say figure it out?
Yeah, pretty much. Just be patient. And just enjoy every moment of it as you figure it out. Just enjoy it. Because they won't be young forever. At some point in time, they're going to turn 18, go off to college, and get married and
start lying and stealing.
Oh my goodness! On that note,
that's
wow, that's true. That's true.
Bernie.
On that note, guys, thank you all so very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate your feedback and your honesty and your candid conversation. We've come to the portion of our show where we feature artists to give them a spotlight to share their talents, their times, and the good stuff that they've got going on. So here tonight we have 2 female authors who are authors of the book An Anthology of Sisterhood. We have Miss L.D. Wells and Dr. Francine Breakfield. Please welcome them to the show. Hey ladies.
Hello.
Go ahead. Tell us what you have for us tonight.
Well, our project is written by 22 women, and it's called An Anthology of Sisterhood. We are very, very pleased with the progress we've made with this book so far and the huge media message that we have, which is women can come together, women can do something together, women can make a positive impact. And so we got together with 20 other women to create this project. We just want to thank a couple of people related to the book. First and foremost, we are incredibly indebted to the late legendary Ruby Dee. She embraced our book from the start. She decided to not only write the foreword for our book, but she also decided to include one of her pieces as a part of our work, and so we're incredibly thankful for that. We want to thank the 22 women who took their time to write and create and to make this project possible. So shout out to those 22 women who have their work here. Also with me, I'm LD Wells, and also with me is Fran Brakefield. Hey. She's being
Don't
very
be shy, y'all. I know y'all not shy.
She's being really shy right now, but really shout out to her because this project was her vision. It came out of her dissertation. It was something that was near and dear to her heart. And when she got that vision, she called me to help her put it to work and make it happen. And so I began to work with her and the women that she had chosen to format, edit, and produce what we now know as 22 Shades of Red. So we want to share just a couple of pieces. The first piece that I'd like to share with you today is called, for academia's sake, Will You Love Me? But for performance sake, I change it just a little bit, and I like to call it, You Gonna Love Me?
All right now.
And this came basically out of a time when my phone was ringing off the hook that particular day. My sister called, my mother called, my friends were calling, a little guy I was dating at the time were calling, and they all just seemed to want something from me. And I know that Nikhol is very much dedicated to mental health, and so this was my release. This was my time at trying to make sure that I had a mental health outlet. So it's, You Gonna Love Me. You gonna love me when I don't do things your way, when I don't listen and maybe even go astray, when they are all up in it and won't back down, when I'm angry at you and them and I don't even want to be found. You gonna love me when I don't want to be on your committee or in your group, when I won't let you control me, when I want to stay out of the loop, when I don't have even another thing to give, when I want to live and I just want you to live. You gonna love me when I can't even offer my full support, when I can't hear another second of that report, when I'm convinced you being a fool, when I want you to get rid of that man because he's a fool. You gonna love me when I look like I don't even know what I'm doing, when it looks like everything I'm trying to ruin, when I push you away and leave you out, when my choices are all you seem to want to talk about. You gonna love me when you got something new going on, when we start having differences of opinion, when you've gotten caught up in this or in that, when I'm not impressed, I don't want to be your mat. You gonna love me when time or space or men or life starts to pull us apart, when we don't have enough time anymore to share our hearts, when I'm missing you and you know you're missing me, but our pride is causing us to disagree. You gonna love me because I'll always love you forever.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, guys. This has been a phenomenal show tonight. We are talking about families first. We had Father's Day special. I want to make sure we get our sponsors a shout out. Special thank you to our caterer that's tonight. Special thank you to Plug Me Into You, and also to the boutiques that sponsor us. I want to thank our guests, Dramon, and our special co-host, Griff, for being here with us tonight. We also want to thank our Fit for Life fitness guru, LaWanda and her Kango shoes. If you have any questions about the information presented here tonight on tonight's show, be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at NicoleBJackson.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and on Instagram. Guys, in closing, remember that it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you'll go through in the future. Trust, know, and believe that your healing is just a journey away. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Be present, be engaged, and figure it out along the way. Join us here next week, same time, same place. Got a great show lined up for you about financial freedoms, fresh starts, new beginnings. Take care, guys.